Good morning. Good morning. My name is Gretchen Mowney. I am one of your worship associates. I am a white, pale-skinned elder millennial wearing a dark red shirt. And I have medium-length brown hair, and I am wearing blue Autistic Pride heart-shaped earrings.
And I am George Grimm Howell, your intern minister. It's good to be with you. I am a aging, middle-aged, pale-skinned man with very little hair and wearing a red and black plaid shirt and a gray blazer. Our opening words this morning are going to be read by Gretchen and me together, and this is by Teresa Niñan Soto. All that we are, together and individually, is part of the abundance of the universe.
We are made of stars. We are made of earth. All that we have,
all that we have comes from the earth, from the labor of those in our communities.
From the cities, farms, and oceans that enliven us, the world and those who live in it.
We are surrounded by blessing, by grace, and by possibilities.
We are reflected in every other human being.
We respect and honor one another's differences.
We celebrate our interbeing with abundance and the practice of generosity.
Come, let us worship together. Our centering song this morning is From You I Receive, number 402, and we'll sing it 3 times together.
One more time.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
And we're now going to sing together a hymn of roses in unexpected times and places, number 346. Come sing a song with me, and I'll bring you love and a rose in the wintertime. I invite you to rise or remain seated as you're most comfortable for hymn number 346 in your gray hymnal.
So how many of you recognize this tree? As long as I have been at UUCC, one of the most enduring parts of our sacred spaces have been the lovely trees that sat on the chancel and in the greeting area. They were a wedding gift to Todd and Candy Iveson, and then they donated them to the church where they would have space to grow. What a beautiful metaphor for what this community is all about. During the pandemic, so much shifted in the work of this church. As we all figured out how to survive, we saw the importance of all the small acts of care that we did for each other, that they helped to heal the world, just as the big works we do in this community have done. And in that time, our trees were well cared for. They pulled through just like we did. And we were able at last to turn our attention back to the big things, the wonderful work of making our building more accessible. And in the building process, our trees got shoved to a corner, and we forgot to tend them. Or not forgot, I walk past those trees almost every day, usually on a frenzied hunt for some object relocated in the renovation, and I would think, someone should water this tree, and then I would keep going. I didn't ever get a watering can and water it myself. And day by day, I saw it wither away. But just like Juana's rosebush, I don't think it's too late to make this tree beautiful again. For our centering, I want us to reflect on the power of our attention and care. Where is your love being called in this world? What are the big, important things that we are called to right now? Accessibility and disability justice, queer liberation, the fight for autonomy over our bodies, so much more. And now, think of the small acts of love and care. Making a meal for the family with a new baby, setting up tables for a potluck, sending cards of well wishes or appreciation or get well soon or my heart is with you in this difficult time. Know how very life-sustaining these acts are, how they grow our community and help us continue the big work we do. And think of the things that have called you, but maybe you thought someone else would do. And be gentle with yourself, knowing you can't do everything. But think about how maybe just a little of your attention and care might have mattered. And know that it is never too late. We can always begin again, intending what needs our care. Even this sad, dead tree. And finally, let your heart swell with love for all the things that matter. And in the words of Reverend Molly, everything matters. What a beautiful opportunity this world gives us to grow our love. Feel your heart so full it spills over, spilling out everywhere. And with it, your attention, your actions, nurturing a world that needs your care. And just imagine what beauty can grow. In our interlude, I want to invite anyone who wants to help me make this tree beautiful again. We have flowers made by our children in their service Sunday last week, and additional flowers. The tree is very delicate because it's not doing so great. So just be careful as you attach them. But if you would like to come up and help me decorate this tree, I invite you to do so.
I'm the Reverend Molly Housh Gordon, the minister of this congregation. I am a pale-skinned woman with red hair that is very long on one side and very buzzed on the other. I'm wearing a floral dress with long sleeves. And Jamila gave you half of my motto in life these days, which is everything matters, nothing is bleeped. Or everything matters, nothing is ruined forever. However you might translate the bleep. And that for me is an expression of my faith, of our faith, that every bit of life and love and hope in this world matters, that every bit of everything else matters, and that it is never too late to grow. It is never too late to tend love. It is never too late for life, even amid the forces of oppression and death. We can always bring life. We can always embody love. And one of the most important things I've learned about gardening through our year of construction at the church and through my own home garden is probably the most obvious, that you can't just plant some seeds or have a tree and then forget about it if you want it to truly flourish. Who knew? A flourishing garden needs exactly what Wanda gave her bush of thorns. It needs weeding, attention to the soil, and it needs water, and it needs care. A flourishing garden needs what Wanda received from her community as they were inspired by her care. A flourishing garden needs all of us. A flourishing garden needs tending. A flourishing garden needs loving attention. The same is true for love and for love's garden, which is community. Love grows best when tended, and community can only thrive with our care and attention. And I think that we can celebrate today that the beauty that we have added to this tree that we neglected, the beauty that we now see on this tree can represent once more the tending and love and care that it symbolizes for a couple among us who never stopped tending to one another and to our community. This morning, we remember that love grows best when tended, and that community cannot simply be planted in seed and then lose our attention. That if we want community to blossom and bloom and grow strong for us, we must tend to it. Over the last several years, we have had to work very hard to maintain community through some natural and human-made disasters. And now we are emerging from that time of duress. And it can be tempting to remove our attention from community. Phew, at least that's over. Oh, I can go back to ignoring what I want to ignore. I believe that it is right now that our beloved community most needs tending and most needs our devoted attention and care. Now, as we stand and sit and are planted at the very edge of blossoming back into beauty. To recover from the natural disaster and the human-made disasters of these last few years, we need to tend this beautiful, beloved community of ours. We know now more than ever that we are living in a time when the hoarders of power are attempting to spray Roundup on the garden of community. There are fascists trying everything they can to separate us from each other. And amid it all, here we are in this building, making community grow. Our insistence upon tending love is our resistance to the forces in our nation, in our culture that deal death. And our insistence upon tending love is the best place for our own resilience and hope. In a time when the divisions and death-dealing systems at the macro level bring me to rage or despair, I'm finding all I want to do is come here and water our garden. By which I mean tend to the relationships close in, where we can truly grow something beautiful, even in the shadow of things that are not beautiful. It turns out that our salvation was never in the massive hierarchical systems that operate through plunder and oppression. Our thriving was only ever to be found through each other, in real materially linked communities of care. And that is why I want to pour all of my tending, all my love, energy, and resources into community, into you. Incidentally, that is why my gift to the church every year is at least 3 times that of each of my other charitable giving commitments, because we take care of each other. And so doing, we grow love in the world. I am watering this community because I need there to be a place in mid-Missouri where my children can receive high-quality, age-appropriate sexuality education across the lifespan in a way that affirms gender and sexual diversity, teaches consent and the sacredness of all bodies, and helps our kids think through their own values. And I need this more now that the Missouri legislature is moving to ban gender-affirming care for young people and pushing forward the most draconian Don't Say Gay bill in the country, one that I just learned even bans talking about bullying in our schools if that bullying is related to sexuality. That is a death-dealing culture that we resist with our programming, with our sexuality education. We are quite literally here to save lives with our sexuality education program in Missouri. And I need there to be a place in mid-Missouri that responds to hysteria about critical race theory by deeply studying the history of racist harm in our community, as our Reparations History Working Group is doing. And I need there to be a place in mid-Missouri where I have the passionate support of the people I serve when I sue the state of Missouri for my right to abortion access. Where I received multiple offers from people who said they would like to sit in my yard with a shotgun if it became necessary to defend my family. I politely declined that part of the offer, but the way people have our backs has made it all possible. I need there to be a place in mid-Missouri where we are finding deep relationship with the land upon which we worship, and tending to native prairies, and thinking together about our community as a site of climate resilience. I need that for my hope in the world, for my hope for our children. I need there to be a place in mid-Missouri where we sing together the new songs of collective liberation and the old ones, and where we sway together with music from a wide plurality of musicians who help us patch our souls back together in this landscape, and where our hearts leap in pride to hear the songs our children are writing and the harmonies of our choir. I need there to be a place in mid-Missouri where we care for each other and for our unhoused neighbors and for the migrant families we're in relationship with. And I need there to be a place where we know that our souls are saved by those relationships of mutuality and care. I need this community. I need you to thrive. And so now I'm going to be frank with you for a minute. While we have survived the challenges of COVID-era church with grace and love and many seeds gorgeously intact, like most communities, we are feeling some of the difficult ramifications of the last 3 years. On the one hand, it feels very much that we are on the verge of some magnificent blossoming. And on the other hand, there are a few trees like this, both symbolically and literally, in our community. We're struggling to find the energy for many volunteer tasks, from ushering to live streaming to program development, and we're beginning to struggle a bit financially as well. Our community remains beautiful, and so necessary. And it could use a little compost and some devoted watering in this next year. Today, we launch our annual giving campaign when we ask one another to make our pledges for how we will support the budget of the church each year. And I need you to know that in the last 3 years, because of all the struggles we've been through in the time of emergency, we've had to cut our budget every year and deplete excess cash reserves. In order to meet our current budgetary needs and avoid difficult decisions like cutting staff hours, we need to grow our collective annual giving this year by about $40,000. It will take even more than that to give staff cost of living raises for the first time in 3 years during this period of wild inflation. This means that we need significant giving increases from anyone who can afford to do so, as well as pledges from new givers, as well as whatever you can afford to contribute from the beauty of your life into the beauty of ours. We also need to grow our volunteer energy levels back to maintain our life together. We are counting on each and every one of us to tend this community of ours and all of the love that it grows forth into the world. All these beautiful, necessary flowers of sexuality education and anti-racist research and abortion access fighting and deep connection to our land and discussions about climate resilience and singing together and feeding each other and being in caring relationship with one another. These are the things we need to water together this year. I invite you to make your pledge early this year and consider how you can rededicate yourself to tending this beloved community we share. Our work has never been more life-saving, more hopeful, more necessary, or more beautiful. Everything we do matters, and none of it is bleeped. And so, with all of our attention and care, I feel us about to blossom. Let us make it so this year together. And I'm going to invite you into a ritual moment of pondering this by handing out some water droplets made of paper for you to write upon something that you would like to help grow in our community. Jamila and George, if you would help, we'll pass around the water drops and the pencils. And we're inviting you now, as we hear some more beautiful music from Carrie Morin, to write what you'd like to help grow in our community, and then to come forward and drop it in the watering can. And if you had already been ready to fill out your pledge card that's in your order of service, you can drop that in the watering can. After the service, that watering can is going to go to our stewardship table, which will be out all month, and it will receive our pledges, our watering of our community. And the droplets themselves will be used to help make a beautiful collective art project that will unfold over the course of our stewardship campaign. Thank you for all you do to nourish my soul. Thank you for all you do to help give me hope in this time. Thank you for all you do to tend our community. Let us now enter this period of reflection with some more beautiful music. May our intentions for this beloved community grow and thrive in the year to come, as together we water this beloved, beautiful place. Thank you.
Every week, we are invited into a time of gratitude and generosity to practice the deep spiritual value of stewardship. Tending this community and all we hold dear by sharing our gifts with one another. I now invite your stewardship as an offering for the always continuing works of this community are given and received. Your contributions this morning will go to support the work of our congregation and our monthly Faith to Action partner, the Honduras ministry of this congregation. And Ali Gassman is here today to tell us a bit about their ongoing work.
Good morning, I'm Ali Gassman. I'm a white woman with graying brown hair and a white sweater. This month's Faith to Action collections will go to our UUCC Honduras Ministry and the Honduras Education Fund. And I'll talk about the Honduras Ministry today, and Kaya Tansky will tell you about the Education Fund next Sunday. We have taken 5 trips to Honduras. The first trip was in 2009, and the last one was end of 2019, beginning of 2020. And we go to the same place every time. It's a river valley south of La Ceiba with several small communities along the river. Each time we go, we build latrines. Latrines are so important for public and environmental health, and latrines are what the community members always ask for. We've also done other things that the community asked for. For instance, one year we painted a school and the health clinic inside and out. Other times, group members have gone into the communities way up in the hills to give health education. One time we had a gynecologist on our trip, and when our organizers there heard about it, they asked for pap smears to be done. So we offered the pap smears and paid for the lab costs and then paid for the treatment for the women who had positive results. And that's what made all the difference. We were told that in the past people did come and offer pap smears, but then the women weren't able to afford the lab costs. So they never got their results, much less any treatment that might have been needed. The community members tell us that other groups will come in and offer certain services, but that no one is like us, where they ask the community what it is that they need or want, then follow up and keep in contact to make sure things are getting done. We're hoping that our next trip will be in 2024. The year before we go to Honduras, each time we fundraise for latrine building and other needed materials. And during the off years, there's plenty we can do to help from afar. Over the years, we've raised the funds to be able to build a zip line type basket from an isolated community over the river to allow children to be able to attend school year-round and help anyone with an emergency cross the river when it's too high to walk across. We've been able to respond with help for medications, for instance, when there was a leishmaniasis outbreak. We've been sending monthly payments for basic clinic supplies and medications for many years now. Yes, we are in a very privileged position to be able to help a poor rural community in Honduras. However, in the end, it's about making connections between our vastly different societies and situations to find common ground and common humanity. Every time we go, I think I can speak for all of us, we stretch ourselves out of our comfort zones. We learn more about ourselves and about the world, and gain new strength and resolve to plug away each day to try and make a difference. We are so grateful for the love, support, and generosity of our UUCC community. without whom this whole ministry wouldn't exist. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your hospitality. This is a song that I wrote for the community that I live in, the foothills of the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, which we'll head towards today. Sun goes down beyond my view, down behind the mountains, and I'll observe the changing hues from the foothills where I reside. Glow around the rock they call the horse tooth darkens like paper torn and pasted against the sky with grace and ease. The locals drive home with all things considered, evidence of my daily victories. My eyes strain to find a shape I've come to trust and recognize. As the watercolor drains from the horizon, I describe, and my thoughts begin to freeze and float away on a February breeze. Evidence of my daily victories. Trust in one another, sisters and brothers, says the moon, our eldest mother, in the sky tonight. Trust in one another, sisters and brothers, says the moon, our eldest mother, in the sky tonight. What did I learn to earn respect in my years of wandering? Silence is the better part of observation, yet it can be deafening. I can see from any distance it's unbecoming of a man to place himself above the members of a nation. Yet in my reckoning, I want to be the best at what I do and learn about humanity at every opportunity, as if you and I could walk side by side down any avenue. Evidence of my daily victories, or my eyes strain to find the shame I've come to trust and recognize. As the watercolor drains from the horizon, I describe, and my thoughts begin to freeze, float away on a winter breeze. Evidence of my daily victories. Trust in one another, sisters and brothers, says the moon, our eldest mother, in the sky tonight. Trust in one another, sisters and brothers, says the moon, our eldest mother, in the sky tonight. Trust in one another, sisters and brothers, says the moon, our eldest mother, in the sky.
This morning. Friends, can we give another big UUCC thank you to Carrie Morin? Before our benediction, I want to let you know that our stewardship team is going to be out in the greeting area at the table there for the next month to answer any questions you might have or chat with you. Our chair this year is Susan Even. Susan, would you raise your hands or stand up? So please find Susan. Yes, thank you so much, Susan. Please find Susan if you have any questions. And now let us go from this place to tend community and grow love. Let us go in blessing and be a blessing to a world that needs our care. And let us sing our benediction.